Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you've decided to be here, watching the KEL Invitational. 16 players over the span of 5 regions have been given an opportunity to prove their worth amongst the game's greats. But only one can be crowned champion. With a lineup of this caliber, every single match is going to be a brutal battle for that throne. But of course, every journey has to start somewhere, and that start is here. So that's it. My name is gamicrayola. Joining me in the booth is Bez. Welcome to the opening match of the KEL Invitational, ASecretBox versus Intercambing.
This is a big, strong match to begin with, but then again, you look at the bracket, all of them are big, strong matches, but they're two really experienced opponents here. They've faced each other in the past in different tournaments here and there, but this time around, they're in a 1v1. It's a different situation, and it's gonna be to the death. I feel like these two players can go all the way to tiebreaker if they pick correctly and if they play their cards right. But it could also be just a sweep from the higher seed because the seeding difference between these two players is quite big, actually.
Well, I think it's easy to look at the seed difference and say that, right, Bez? But I think a trend that we're likely going to see throughout this entire week is going to be one where, seeds begin to dilute a little bit. Because fact of the matter is, this pool is, I believe, 0.5 SR lower than the qualifiers pool. So these players are playing on a much more accessible playing field. And this is particularly important for this match because ASecretBox is a player that scales extremely well with SR, right? If you know the Australia OWC team, you know that they're a team that performs pretty alright in the earlier rounds. They're passable, but when it gets to later rounds, there are very few countries that can beat an Australia that has the comfort or the ability to skill cap their opponents. And ASecretBox, of course, being one of the main batteries for Australia, is obviously going to have this sort of mentality going into the Invitational. Meanwhile, on the other hand, it's the opposite for Intercambing. I am more inclined to say that Intercambing is likely one of the strongest low SR players, especially in this tournament, because Intercambing is extremely experienced, right? He's been in the scene for, oh my goodness, almost over 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, and the experience that he possesses under his belt is great. And I have seen Intercambing perform in recent tournaments such as Battle of the Box, where him alongside Matty were able to go so far in the tournament just by, getting extremely high FCs on your no mod 1s, your no mod 3s, your no mod 4s. And it's on these very, very fundamental and mechanical maps where Intercambing really shines. And I think on this low SR, where the playfield is very low, it really gives Intercambing that room to, play into either ASecretBox's weaknesses or perhaps even outclass ASecretBox when it comes to consistency or, overall tenacity. But with that said, Bez, would you like to run us through the bans?
Yes, indeed. Kind of really just simple bans here done by both players. ASecretBox has tended to ban into the Nomad 6, which is a bit interesting out of all the bans. The other ban is the Nomad 1, which we kind of do expect because it's a consistency aim-focused map. And the bans coming in from Intercambing are the two flow aim maps. We have the Nomad 2 and the Hidden Free. And the pick is now Nomad Free. The alt pick, really interesting. Flow aimy alt, but it also really control heavy here done by ASecretBox. So starting off with the pick that is favoring him quite a lot, so we'll see how he does. But Intercambing, as you mentioned, a player that on this SR can excel quite well, and it's just a matter of who has the better consistency this match.
Yep, of course, that's going to be the main question here. But funny you mentioned consistency because this map is probably one of the most difficult control maps in the pool. This was a map mapped by Megafan, who is often known as one of the front runners when it comes to tournament circle tech. And as you can see, as you get deeper and deeper into the map, you can see all these weird control patterns, XL patterns, these weird overlapping patterns, which just adds on to the overall density of the map, which in turn, adds a level of reading to the map that these players might trip up on. And as you can see, it's what's keeping Intercambing out of the game right now as ASecretBox holds a 400 combo over his adversary, moving into the second quarter of the map and towards the tail end of this first KI.
Yeah, they were holding the SS for so long, finally dropping at least 100, and Intercambing is finally getting some sort of comfort as the map is now approaching its second third of it, as the first third was kind of awkward for Intercambing. They had a bit of difficulty times,
Oh.
especially with these really heavy control patterns, as we see there, we're finding themselves another miss, and ASecretBox is just looking in their element today.
Yeah, see, ASecretBox is demolishing this map, but as I say that, unfortunately, he does find the miss, but with about 100k score lead in his name, moving into the second half of the map, I really don't know if Intercambing can even begin to think about a comeback, right? He has absolutely no response for that miss, and the accuracy is not doing him any favors. He's currently at a 2% deficit, and as we move into a bit of a drum break of the map, a bit of a density cooldown, there isn't much combo to be had. There isn't much to be said about the scoreline right now as ASecretBox continues to trudge ahead. We really need the hope for a miss from ASecretBox, right? If we are expecting Intercambing to get back into the game. Right now, Stagnation is hitting the board, but ASecretBox missing is the win condition.
There is possibility. This section is still very awkward. It doesn't let down at all. Even if it is the slower section of this map, it is still really difficult because the difficulty of this map overall is just absolutely insane from start to finish, and both of the players are showcasing an absolutely insane level of consistency here in the second half of the map. And I don't think it's gonna be enough for Intercambing, even though they are hitting every single pattern so far. The accuracy deficit is too big, and that miss puts a nail in their coffin, and that's the end of their hopes on this No Mod 3 as ASecretBox will take their first pick and point.
Yeah, Intercambing was giving Box a run for his money, but at the end of the day, you know, you gotta give it to Box. This is a phenomenal first pick to kickstart the matchup. A very solid, I believe that's gonna be what, 600? 650k score, 630k score to kickstart this match. A very decisive and dominant win from ASecretBox throughout all parts of this No Mod 3, and I think it's gonna set a pretty good tempo for him going to this matchup, and it will enable him to go into future control picks. But it's onto the drawing board for Intercambing. The question is, what will they go for? I'm expecting Bez to see something more accessible, right? You're looking at ASecretBox respecting the act game coming in from Intercambing and taking out the No Mod 1. So I'm thinking personally, maybe something in the Hard Rock one, maybe something in the DT one. You know, try to find some points in these consistency picks that Intercambing seem very strong on.
I don't want to spoil it to you, but I think Intercambing has already made their pick, and it's definitely really interesting. It's one of the more difficult maps in this pool. It's also the shortest one. It is gonna be that DK3 coming in from Intercambing. This one is a really difficult one. It's also really short, so I think Intercambing is trying to comfort check here ASecretBox if he's prepared for this type of DT mapping.
I mean, I'm not super convinced. I'm be completely honest with you, Bez. I'm not super convinced on the strength of this pick overall, just because of how strong ASecretBox is on the mechanics, right? He's always been known to be a very strong player on the mechanics. And on the flip side, right, Intercambing is more so known for their ability in the aim, their right hand skill sets. But of course, if you are comparing their qualifier results, this does make quite a bit of sense. Box was number 16th on the DT2 and Intercambing came out number 6. So that's a 10 seed difference, and according to qualifier results, Intercambing should have a huge lead. But, you know, what we've been talking about before was how accessibility is the name of the game on a low SR pool. And hell, we've been talking about how Intercambing thrives off this accessibility, but it might just backfire in this juncture. This accessibility might just backfire and in fact give ASecretBox the point, despite being the weaker player on paper when it comes to the speed. So that's it. Let's get into Veselix. So fast. There's only 1 minute on the clock. So volatile.
This map is just gonna go by in a blink, and both players right now are showing incredible consistency. I see their miss from Intercambing, and that's pretty much just the end, because this map is so short that it doesn't even matter that they found the second miss. That first miss was already just the nail in the coffin for them. It's already over, and ASecretBox is holding a really strong 98 accuracy FC right now, and this ending section is a bit easier than the intro section of the map. It's still really hard with these bursts and sliders, so the finger control needs to be an absolute peak, and right now ASecretBox is showing that absolute dominance on the mechanics, as you mentioned, and there's gonna be another point for ASecretBox, back-to-back, first break point in the match as well.
Yep, and there you have it. The accessibility benefited ASecretBox in this matchup. And that's why I was so apprehensive about a pick like this, right? Because ASecretBox is by no means known to be a player who's weak on speed whatsoever, and Intercambing is not particularly known for their ability as a mechanics or left-hand mechanics player. So for that reason, I was very skeptical of this pick, and unfortunately, my suspicions have been predicted or have come true. And ASecretBox will be putting another point on the board, stealing the first break point of the match.
It's they're being
RPG?
pushed between a rock and a hard place right now. Intercambing needs to think about their next pick really carefully, because they can't allow themselves to have another DT free situation where they just lose another point quite decisively, even though they had a lot of confidence going into it. So they need to think about it, but before that, we need to see ASecretBox's next pick. They have a lot of choices here. The map pool is there's just so many good maps that ASecretBox could pick into, and it is gonna be that hidden one. We are going to see yet another more mechanical focused, more alt focused map in the pool. It's also one of the longer ones, so this one is definitely gonna just test again consistency on this low SR. So we'll see how the two players face off as we get underway with the hidden one.
I think this hidden one is a phenomenal pick in the context of what we know about this matchup, right? ASecretBox took a very decisive lead over Intercambing on the Nomod 3, and that Nomod 3 was, placed more emphasis on flow tech, circle tech, and a lot of flow aim was the main name of the game on that Nomod 3. This hidden one is also in the same genre of skill set, right? It is still an alt map, but it focuses on a different type of alt. This is I believe, a snappy alt map, clocking in at around 4 minutes and 13 seconds. So as you were saying, right, best consistency, the name of the game. But of course, in addition to the the bevy of flow aim patterns, or not flow aim patterns, the snap aim patterns that will attack these players throughout the course of these 4 minutes, you have hidden onto it, so that just adds another added layer of difficulty over the already very difficult snap 8 patterns throughout this map. So if that's it, let's get into lies and ties.
Yeah, so far Intercambing is not having that great of a time on it, as we see there. Their comfort on this hidden one is not it, as ASecretBox is still holding a really nice FC. They're definitely really comfortable on this. The consistency snap ult is definitely in their favor today, as they've been really good on that Nomad 3, and they're continuing to showcase here on this hidden one, which is, as you mentioned, a different type of ult, but it's still ult, and he definitely showcases how good he is at these types of maps, so at all types of ult maps, as he's currently just breezing through this map, as Intercambing is struggling to keep up.
I mean, it's not just the fact that Box is very good at these control skill sets. I mean, he is, right? But it's the fact that this pick, in the context of this match, plays on all of Intercambing's weaknesses, or at least his known weaknesses, right? We know Intercambing to not be the strongest player when it comes to the hidden. We know him to be weaker than ASecretBox when it comes to the control, as we just saw from the Nomad 3. And so this hidden one is a perfect culmination of all of these attributes being brought together. And as you can see, it's coming together to give ASecretBox such a decisive lead on this map right now. We're looking at a 99.8, there we go, percent lead, percent accuracy from ASecretBox coming into this map, going into the second half. And meanwhile, Intercambing can only watch and pray, and hope and pray for ASecretBox to find a miss, and it needs to come soon. Hold up! Hold on! Intercambing now on the pursuit for the scoreline as 600 combo is being generated going into the second half of the map. ASecretBox finds yet another miss, and things are looking up for Intercambing, but he will not get far with the combo lead as he finds the miss as he passes the 600 combo mark. And with that, ASecretBox will look to stagnate the scoreline and escort this point to its last third.
There was so much confidence into ASecretBox before that break, and that shattered all their confidence following another break right after. But unfortunately, the Intercambing could not hold their own combo and their own little consistency moment they had holding that combo they've been holding since the first quarter of the map. It was not enough. They finally found a break of their own as well, and that just sentenced their fate for this map, as there's only one quarter left. While there is some sort of hope for Intercambing to maybe see another miss from SecretBox. I don't think that is the case, as we see another miss from Intercambing, definitely putting an end to their story right here on this hidden one. And it's just another masterclass from SecretBox, showcasing how scary of an opponent they are, especially on this type of SR, on any type of SR. You just have to be careful against them, and they're here again to just showcase why they are here, why they are seed 4, and why they are gonna probably make it really far in this tournament.
Right, moving to the tail end of the map, and it's just for formality at this point. 500 combo, going to 600 combo coming in from Box, looking to secure a very, very handsome around 600k scoreline towards the tail end of this map. And I think now the question, Bez, is how will Intercambing get back into this game? Right, they've already tried going for the speed, they tried playing by the book, and it clearly did not work. The control is completely out of the question for Intercambing at this juncture, so I really want to see a DT1 or a Haro 1. It needs to be one of these mechanics picks coming out. It needs to be an accessibility pick coming in from Intercambing. Else, you know, I don't know where else they're gonna get these points. They need to get something on the board, try to find some information, because as of right now, ASecretBox has complete dominion over all the knowledge in this pool. And the entire pool is open to him, so Intercambing needs to start, you know, ticking off some boxes, trying to zone ASecretBox out from some of these future picks.
Well, I was gonna mention how the DT1 might be a way to go, or the Nomad 5 to try some more speed, but it is gonna be HR2. They're gonna push SecretBox on something they have been known to be a little more fragile than everything else. It's gonna be that precision pick from Intercambing. They have placed a lot higher than SecretBox in qualifiers, so they are just mostly betting that they are gonna also underperform on this HR2, just enough for them to grab themselves a point. But we will see, because SecretBox is no player to slouch on the HR. Maybe the precision is the only key benefit that this pick has, where Intercambing is just all betting on precision comfort that he has over SecretBox. So we'll see how this goes, because this is a really difficult map, but it's back into the flow old precision check, so it might also be a territory where SecretBox could show some potential on the precision.
I mean, the thing is, right, when you're playing against an opponent that's of such when you're playing against an opponent who is this much higher than you in seed, it's really difficult to try to play on weaknesses at a lower SR. As you've already seen before, Intercambing tried to do that with information on DT3, and he's trying to pull off the same feat now in this Hard Rock 2. But of course, because ASecretBox just has a higher skill cap, right, it's gonna be a lot more difficult to skill cap him, or even on a low SR pool, and especially because we're on a low SR pool, these maps that might seem to benefit Intercambing might just backfire, similar to that DT3. But as it stands right now, ASecretBox is going to be the one to be drawn first blood against, and with that, Intercambing is going to hold a very sizable lead going into the second quarter of the map. About 0.4% ag lead from Intercambing right now, but it's all going to be about the combo here, right? Still 400 combo and counting, moving into more of the flow aim.
Before that break from Box, they were perfectly matching each other in accuracy and combo, and that break came from what it looked like a slight miss aim in the bottom left corner from SecretBox. And yeah, it is, as you can see, both players look really comfortable on this. Intercambing looks a bit more shaky, dropping a lot more accuracy than SecretBox is, but he's holding the combo, and as long as he's holding the FC, that's all that matters, because so far so good. He's holding 100k lead almost over SecretBox, but he needs to focus, because this ending is absolutely grueling in the map, and if he finds any sort of just loss of focus, as we see right there, right before the spinner. This is absolutely what we've been talking about. This is the moment where he's just gonna absolutely destroy all that effort he put into the first half of the map, and now SecretBox is just gonna have a lot of an easier time going into this ending section.
It's the loss of focus that you were talking about, right? What did Intercambing miss on? I mean, it was such an easy pattern. It's not like one of these KI patterns where it's all about these weird, super space circles. Not about these cut patterns. It was just a random burst in the middle of the map, and because of that miss coming in from Intercambing, ASecretBox is just going to take that lead and run a mile with it. Going into the last 8 of the map, 700 combo on the board. And Intercambing, try as he may, it will not be enough to put his first point on the board. ASecretBox walking to the very end of the map, showing that first miss was but a fluke, as he takes yet another breakpoint from his opponent.
That's about as an unfortunate of a miss as you could get, and it is the loss of focus. It is, maybe you put yourself in a position where you're feeling overly confident about yourself, and maybe that's what happened for Intercambing, but it's so unfortunate to see because they were doing so good until that small little mishap they had on that little like stacked ult pattern. It was not even it was just super unfortunate from Intercambing, and now they put themselves pretty much in the worst position possible. Two of your picks, you have lost both of them, and now we have to go into ASecretBox's pick, which could only spell disaster because he has so much of the pool left to pick into you, and there's so many maps that favor him, and there's so many maps that he has played before, and it's gonna be the DT2 getting picked by ASecretBox. We're getting to see a bit of the DT skill set from ASecretBox, maybe a repetition of what we saw in the DT3 where he's gonna do an absolute masterclass, but we will have to wait and see because Intercambing might have a response on this.
I mean, that is the hope, right? That is the wishful thinking on this DT2 pick, but I think this DT2 pick is very different from the DT3. DT3 was, I think, around 60 BPM faster than the likes of DT2, and it was more premised on, this raw speed concept. ASecretBox won on that, so anything that we can get out of that is going to be flawed. This DT2 pick is more similar to the stamina, or the stamina of this DT2 is more similar by nature to No Mod 2 because both of them are stamina maps. I believe both maps are about 10 BPM apart from each other. You have to fact check me on that one, but I do believe it's around 10 to 15 BPM faster. 10. And yeah, so with this map being a stamina map, it's really difficult for me to justify a case for Intercambing, especially considering that he did ban out the No Mod 2 in the first phase. So that's it. We're gonna have to hope that Intercambing has something up their sleeves, even though the lights don't look very bright here.
There is hope. There's always hope because we're talking about two really good players at this game. It's impossible to write one of them off, and while Intercambing is starting on the wrong foot, this is again one of the longer maps in this pool, so there is still hope, but it is ASecretBox's skill set where he has been always known to show and perform quite well. As you can see, so far so good, absolutely destroying this DT2 so far. Accuracy wise, they're looking as comfortable as you can look on a map of this caliber, and Intercambing is dropping a bit of accuracy here and there. They're not exactly super comfortable on this BPM, and the stamina aspect of it might also play a factor later on into the map, but they are holding a bit of a recovery after that break early on in the map. So if we see any sort of misaim or just random break on one of these bus sliders from ASecretBox, we could see a recovery and comeback from Intercambing.
Given what we've been seeing from this match, honestly, Bez, I feel like you constantly talking about this map is trying to prey on the downfall of one of these players, and the one that's gonna go down first is ASecretBox, but not for long as Intercambing follows suit. And as you move into the second and third of the map, suddenly it's all about the stagnation, and ASecretBox's accuracy lead is really shining here. 3%, 4% onto the board, and that scoreline is only gonna go towards the left side faster and faster as there is no combo to be had from either side of the lobby. This map unrelenting in its test of pure 225 BPM mechanical intensity. And really, there's nothing to be said until we see the next break. We just really need to see who goes down next, because that is going to be pivotal.
I feel like that was just pure coincidence that I mentioned. Every time.
It's happened 3 times.
Every time. I feel like it's pure coincidence that I mentioned something and it bound to happen. It's either pure I'm just reading the script perfectly, or the players are listening to me. It's one of the two, or both. It could be both, but
It's the connection that we have from looking at their hand cams, you know.
true. The beautiful hand cams, the production value is through the roof, and it's definitely showcasing as so far this match has been.
All right, glazing the host aside. Back into the action.
my bad.
This section of the KI features a lot more, you know, weird controlling patterns. There's a little bit of a start-stop here and there, just to make sure that, you know, you can actually tap the 225 BPM. But it's back into the shred. These streams, very similar to what we saw before, except this time I believe they are slightly longer than the streams before, where the previous KI focused a lot more on angular changes. This map focuses on these sharp, you know, almost 180 full turns when it comes to all these flowing patterns. Moving into the next bout of the KI, and still these players are at a standstill far past the 100k mark right now, so any miss will be volatile here. 130k on the scoreline, going to ASecretBox and moving into the ending. I don't know if there's gonna be enough room. I don't know if ASecretBox is even gonna give Intercambing a chance to take this point back on this DT2.
Yeah, it's not looking likely, and we see a break from Intercambing, pretty much just solidifying that fact, as ASecretBox looks absolutely unshakable on this type of mapping. The stamina is absolutely infinite on them. If you ignore that little break from the middle, it's an absolute perfect run on this DT2, and we have to give it off to ASecretBox. And in general, Intercambing was always gonna fight an uphill battle on this type of map, but yeah,
Mechanics
is is a great territory where ASecretBox could have something. Like, they've showcased they're really good at mechanics.
It's the thing about, like, in 1v1 tournaments, it's really about a lot of your picking strategy is going to revolve around this concept of accessibility, right? It's gonna, because the fact of the matter is you don't have a team to back you up. If you can't play Hidden 2, you just can't play Hidden 2. If you can't play mechanics, or if your opponent is very clearly better than you at mechanics, there's really nothing you can do. It's gonna be very difficult for you to fight a battle where you're not only struggling to hold combo, but any sort of combo that you hold is gonna be laced with poor accuracy. And that's the big problem here, right? I think throughout probably this entire tournament, it's always going to be about whoever can fight more battles, whoever can take a wider range of fight. And I think in this matchup, it's clear to see that whatever tricks Intercambing is trying to pull off his sleeve, ASecretBox can do it, if not better, then at least match it to the level where Intercambing cannot afford to make a mistake. And when Intercambing is making mistakes as the lower seed, that's where the trouble arises.
Indeed. I mean, in this situation, ASecretBox just has a lot more cards to play than Intercambing, and Intercambing is gonna play the raw speed. But we'll take a moment to deviate us from talking about the match to mention that this tournament is absolutely insane. Production value is insane, but there is a coffee open to fundraise KEL 5, which is the future iteration of KEL 4, the LAN. So if you've enjoyed this match so far and you want to see more amazing matches like this one, and at LAN specifically, do drop any sort of money if you have if you have like a couple of dollars at your disposal and you want to donate to this amazing tournament. Please do on the official coffee, so you can support the future iteration of KEL LAN tournaments as we get underway with this Nomad 5.
Yep. And that's it. This Nomad 5 is a very, very famous Nomad 5. I think one of the most famous, not Nomad 5, but it's one of the most famous speed maps in the tournament scene. This is a 245 BPM straight map from the OS World Cup 2023. And this map itself, really, it's really just a speed map, right? 202 minutes and 38 seconds of just pure speed intensity. But I will say, Bez, it's this map. This map feels like it's a lot more intensive on the aim than it should be. I feel like it shouldn't be as aim intensive as it is, but you know, if you are uncomfortable on the 245 BPM of this map in any capacity, you will struggle with the consistency on this aim. As it stands right now, however, ASecretBox is holding a very solid SS over Intercambing right now. It won't quite matter too much as the scoreline is only a measly 20k separating these two players. But as you move into the KI and the misses start to come in, that will be significant.
Yeah, it will be significant, as you do mention, some of these sections are so hard aim-wise because you have to snap so quickly from a pattern to another, and these players are showcasing it absolutely perfectly, and especially ASecretBox, who's still holding the SS, seeming like an absolutely just demon right now, and they are just continuing to showcase what true raw speed is, coming from the land down under and continuing to showcase what the speed is. There's a bit of a shake off there. There's a slider break coming in from ASecretBox, so now all the hope for intercambing on this peak comes down. They have to hold on this aim part right before the ending section. The last third is gonna be also really gluing, but they have all the combo in their favor to do so.
All the cards have been dealt into Intercambing's hand. He has the winning hand, but the question is he going to be able to cash it out? We're moving to the last third of the map, and the scoreboard opens. We are into a break. These players, if they opened up the leaderboard, knows what's at stake, especially Intercambing. This is his opportunity to get his first entry into the match, and on a speed map, no less. I thought it was over when Intercambing picked the No Mod 5. I thought he was just throwing in the white towel, but it seems as though he still has one more in him. As we move into the last sections of the map, the scoreline has multiplied to a massive 200k score lead in favor of Intercambing right now, as he moves forward, unrelenting, into the final sections of the map. And Intercambing, I think he's gonna be doing it. I think he's gonna be putting his first point on the board. Intercambing's on the map.
Sweep denied by Intercambing, continuing their little run on this match with an FC. What a way to showcase what we've been talking about this match, that they finally managed to showcase that comfortability on the lower SR, and they did manage to showcase on a raw speed map out of all of them. So definitely nice to see them finally feeling themselves in comfort, finally grabbing themselves an FC and a point in this match. But it's still a really big uphill battle, and it's still just a battle that ASecretBox has the most advantage in, and it's gonna be down to his next pick if he's gonna put just the ending blow on this battle, or if he's gonna allow Intercambing to have a little bit more fun. But I see that No Mod 4 being picked, and I think it might just be almost over for Intercambing.
Yeah, as crazy as we went over Intercambing making that comeback, at the end of the day, it is still a losing matchup. It is still a very steep uphill battle for Intercambing here. And I think this No Mod 4 is gonna be no different. This No Mod 4 is interesting. I feel like at this SR, we are desensitized to seeing No Mod 4s that are very premised on fast sliders, weird slider shapes. Think about your ASRock mapping, right? All about these big sliders. This No Mod 4 seems to take a step back in that sense, and it features a lot of simpler sliders, and overall the map premises itself on, fast snap aim. It's similar to the hidden one in that sense, but I do think this No Mod 4 is a bit more structured in its aim. And given how the map is the extended version of Energy Synergy Matrix, you can already assume that it's gonna be one of the longer maps in the pool, hence, being a consistency pick through and through. But overall, I think this is one of the more accessible maps in the pool. And so for that reason, I'm actually pretty optimistic about this pick, at least for Intercambing, right? I'm optimistic that, if the stars align, Intercambing will be able to find his way to a point on this No Mod 4. But with that said, let's jump straight into it.
It's all about that low SR consistency, and it's we've been mentioning it, I feel like, every single map, but it's just the story of this map pool in general. Like, it's a super accessible map pool for all of these top players, not just them, but like every single player that is in this tournament. So you can expect a good performance on these maps from absolutely anyone, as we just saw on the No Mod 5 from Intercambing, and it could be the same situation here on the No Mod 4 if Intercambing continues to hold. Right now it is a slightly AC advantage towards ASecretBox, as he's holding the higher accuracy, but it's all gonna be in the combo. In a map this long, it's bound to see a break here or there, and the question is who is gonna be the first one to find that break, and it is gonna be Intercambing.
Yeah, that's right. Intercambing being the first one to go down, but not being at a deficit for long as ASecretBox does find the trade. And in fact, another miss on the board is going to make it very nice for Intercambing to get himself back into the game. The scoreline shifts over to the right side as we move into the second quarter of the map. And this time, Intercambing is not only holding the combo, but the accuracy lead as well, albeit it's pretty slight, but any progress is good progress when you're this low in the match, and when you're at this position in the match. We're moving into the next bout of the KI, and really there's nothing too much different. There's nothing too unique from what we've seen before, right? All gonna be about patterns that test your aim agility through and through. So at the end of the day, we're gonna have to wait until the later sections of the map to see if any of these players' stamina gets caught out. As it stands now, however, Intercambing is still trying their best to stay afloat, but ASecretBox hot on his tail is not going to give up this lead easily.
Intercambing blooming with confidence after that Nomad 5 and is definitely showcasing a really good side from it. As you see another break from ASecretBox right before the spinner and halfway
Come on!
It's really big advantage now to Intercambing because this break pretty much puts all the pressure on ASecretBox because he has to perform, but there's also pressure on Intercambing because he finds a break and it's all over in him. He goes through the losers bracket, so there is pressure on both, I would say equally, so they need to perform here. This last third of the map is make or break for Intercambing, and right now they have so much combo in their favor. It's all about this ending section.
That's right, it's all about the ending section indeed, as Intercambing is currently standing at an 800 combo, but of course you can never be too safe against the box himself. Moving to the last quarter of the map, and Intercambing cannot afford to give up. This section of the map places more emphasis on these big jumps, as you can see here, so the consistency is really going to be put to the test as these players are getting tired, getting worn off, getting tired of the 4-minute drain time of this map. But as it stands right now, Intercambing is not going to break down, but he does go down at that very miss, and with that, ASecretBox is now going to swoop in for the attack. But is there enough map left? That is going to be a question. It's a race against time for the box here. 600 combo and counting. It's going up and up and up and up and up, and the scoreline gets closer and closer till the very end. Intercambing is threading on really, really thin ice as we slowly but surely inch towards the last remaining sections of the map. ASecretBox takes it below the 50k benchmark, and that chain miss from Intercambing isn't gonna do him any favors. 30k, past the 30k mark, into the 20ks. ASecretBox 900 combo on the board. It is by the wire, but at the very end, it will not be enough, and Intercambing stays in the game.
It was gonna be like at least a couple thousands off, and I think Intercambing would have still had it. It was way too close to tell, but that break at the end from ASecretBox pretty much nullified all that momentum that he was carrying into the ending section after the break from Intercambing. So there's still hope for Intercambing in this match, and it continues to grow as we move on into another Intercambing pick. He now has to be absolutely flawless for the rest of the match because now ASecretBox is starting to pile up a bit of nerves. We saw a bit of shakes here and there from ASecretBox and inconsistency that we didn't see at the start of the match. So as long as Intercambing continues to push hard into this with his comfort picks, with his maps that he knows he can perform good on, it's gonna be the showcase that we want to see from Intercambing against ASecretBox. But I see that the next pick is gonna be a bit unconventional, and I would say that it's gonna be another territory where both players can perform quite evenly on, and that pick would be the Hidden 2 picked by Intercambing.
Interesting. Intercambing picking Hard Rock 2 into ASecretBox. I don't know how I feel about this one. I think but at the end of the day, I do think that there is some validity into this pick. We've been talking all about how we want Intercambing to go into aim. We need them to go into aim, right? And this map is an aim map. It's really just a 2-minute long No Mod 1, but with AR8 HD slapped onto it. At the same time, right, ASecretBox is a very strong hidden player, but I don't think he's that much stronger when you lower the AR down to AR8, and it actually gives Intercambing a lot of room to perform to his strengths. And as we see right now, ASecretBox third miss on the board, whereas Intercambing is still trudging forward with that FC. Where was this pick earlier in the match? We're moving to the second third of the map, and Intercambing has now generated the fastest lead that he's generated throughout this match.
We were talking before stream that this Hidensu could be an interesting pick to see here, and that we didn't know how to feel from either players picking this map, and we're definitely onto something because this pick from Intercambing seems like what he needed for the first half of the match, because he's absolutely impeccable right now, still holding an FC into this match, going into the last third of the map. We're talking about 200k score difference almost. They're finally the first break from Intercambing, but there's just such a big difference between these two players. There's still some hope. We see a couple chain misses here from Intercambing, so ASecretBox could bring this back if we see more of this vulnerable side from Intercambing, as the score lead is actually moving really, really fast in the favor of ASecretBox. It's already 60k difference. The score has shrunk down by half, and now it's 30k, and it's definitely going to switch over if ASecretBox doesn't find a miss by the end of this map. It's 10k, 8k, 5k, and it switches right over right before the ending section. And that's absolutely tragic to see, because Intercambing was looking so good into this map, but unfortunately, it was not enough.
In utterly heartbreaking fashion, ASecretBox will be taking this breakpoint off Intercambing with the match in hand as well. It was looking so good for Intercambing in the earlier sections of the match, but at the end of the day, there's really not much you can do when your opponent punches 2 weight classes above. So with that, ASecretBox will be moving forward in the KEL Invitational, and unfortunately, Intercambing will be dropping down into the losers bracket. With that said, this was a match. It was the match.
That was a match. Both players performed so good, but in the end, only one can win, and it is ASecretBox, the one who has been the more consistent out of the two. And yeah, an absolutely deserved win here from ASecretBox, putting on a showcase of what is like to be the more consistent out of the two.
Yeah, ASecretBox, one of the best in the world, one of the best to do it right now. And it's clear to see that his run through the KEL Invitational will be one full of prosperity, and it'll be a very, very gilded road for him to walk. But of course, it'll take time. And with that said, we have a lot of matches lined up for you. So before we go, I'd like to first off shout out the next match that's about to happen. I do believe this is I believe it's Emrek versus Nahus, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just do a quick check. Yep,
yes.
That's going to be Emrek versus Nahus at 13 UTC, but at the very same time, we'll have Tuna versus Misha Awa also at 13 UTC. And the last match of the day being Milos and Decaton, and that will be at 16 UTC. So in about, I think, 9 hours or so now, you get to see 2 very exciting matches, and then afterwards, Milos versus Decaton, probably the match of the weekend. But of course, before we go, if you like what we're doing here at KEL Invitational, do not hesitate to drop a kind donation to our lovely Ko-fi. All of the proceeds will be going into, paying for the KEL 5 project next year. So if you're a fan of KEL, or if you're a fan of what we do, if you find out to be a fan later on, any form of support will be greatly appreciated. But with that said, Bez, any last words from you?
It's a packed weekend, and every single match just seems to be a banger, and you have to be here to watch them. You just have to watch them all. It's what it is. You've signed to watch this one, you have to sign to watch the other ones as well, because they are absolutely thrilling.
Thrilling is a good word to put it, Bez. But with that said, I think it's time for us to go. So with that, we hope you enjoyed the opening match of KEL Invitational. We hope this match has set a good precedent for the tournament to come forward, because there are so many exciting matches lined up, and it's gonna be a blast to watch. But of course, until next time, my name has been gamicrayola, his name has been Bez. You are watching the KEL Online Invitational. We'll see you when we do. Bye bye.
Goodbye.